session. Give it a minute before I start. Good morning, everyone. Hope you all had a beautiful weekend. Let's start our trading week, and we are heading for our daily gap right now. Nothing else shows it except of it looks like we want to go down right now to that opening gap, let it do its thing. It will definitely go to that part, and then afterwards we will see what happens. So it will fill this opening gap up in the next few minutes. So looking at the higher time frame right now, it looks like we are having a shift to the downside. Just a second, guys. I ate something this weekend was less good for my body, but I know now why I stopped eating those foods. You always learn something. When you retry something, you know that it's really not healthy for yourself. Okay, so what am I expecting right now? So we had huge shift up, and it looks like now we're slowly moving lower. Actually, we closed actually almost below it. So I got a feeling that this week will continue to the downside, and we will fill up this opening week gap. Will take a bit of process, but looks like it will do that part. On a 15-minute base, let's see what we had. I would wait to do anything right now until we hit this gap and see how we act off of it. So if we flush straight through this opening gap and actually have no resisting whatsoever in it, so we're just hitting it. So anywhere in here, if we have a movement strong back to the upside, we will take out those highs and we will long off of it. If we flush through this and there is no stopping this market, we probably go even further down for today and we will take a short to the downside. We will have to be a bit patient right now, see what happens. And how this market wants to move. Because we're straight at that gap right now, so see if ES is already a lot lower. ES is already in that gap, so we will see how we act off of it right now. Let's do a bit of a top-down analysis and see where we're at the major structure. So we had a huge shift down, we had a huge impulse, we had lack of displacement, we came back down, we didn't take the low yet, so we're still in that range part of this retracement right now. I didn't expect us last week actually to come back down all the way. I was expecting here to continue back to the upside right now, we actually did not. So I did say at the evening, when I almost closed, if we hit the hourly for value gap first to the upside, we will probably hit lower because we had two for value gaps right there. We had a 15 minute just below us that I would love to long off of it, but in that hourly we actually first tapped that upper liquidity and now we saw that move down. So why did I know that we were going down if we hit the high first? Because if we wanted to go lower, it needed that liquidity. Plus, the market was showing us a lot of strength to the downside. And the up movement actually was not high enough to fully get that hourly candle back up. So we came to that 78 level of this structure to the downside. And if we then take out the high first, there's a huge possibility that we keep flushing down. And that's actually what happened. Where did we hit to? Actually, an internal, I believe that was still a 5 minute for value gap somewhere that we hit. Yeah, see that lower part of that 5 minute for value gap was still open, so that's what we hit actually. Not much to say about it, but that's the only thing what actually happened. Okay, we're now going to that 15 minutes right now, that gap. So we're inside, almost inside it, so let this play out first. Uh, if we keep falling, we definitely go like halfway, or maybe that wick. They tend to fill it up, so I would love to see us fill it up first, fully. But for that we will have to be a bit patient. If we do completely fill this up, I would have a very nice indication that we could long, or we have another 15 minutes just below us where we could long off. But if we start flushing through this, that isn't such a good sign actually. I'll keep yes open for a second on the other side to see what this one is doing after we tapped it. It's still inside, it's even falling further. So if this one keeps falling down, Nasdaq will just continue to so. So here comes that push. So once we hit this, we probably hit like 50 level off of it, and then see how we act once we get there. Excuse me. No food for me today. Oh my god, my stomach is not happy with the stuff I put into it. Oh, lesson well learned here. Whew. had a small shift right now, so we hit that level. So I would love to see us at least come into it. We didn't even tap it, so let's take a look if we actually have news today. Do we have something? So we do have some news at 8:30, so in about 30 minutes. So let's be aware of that one too. Here's that part that I wanted to see. Then we go down again. And now we should come to that scab. So it will be a bit of a patient game today for us before we can trade. That's okay. So on a 5-minute base, we can look how we act. So we came into a fair value gap. Now we're having that push. We took that liquidity, so we should keep pushing down right here and not come back up. So what I want to see here is that we keep pushing down into that stream. Let's see if I can. Oh, so guys, if somebody asks something, I actually didn't remember to put my screen on the face. I didn't watch yet. Good morning, Blake. Good morning, Emily. Bajit. Been a while. Morning. I'll give myself first a drink. I'll go again over the top thousands, what I'm expecting, and then I'll ask. I'll compare the questions what you just said to me. the lives will probably go a little bit different soon. I'll do some teaching along the way in the live sessions instead of constantly So, question that you asked was, good morning. We also have a 15 minutes and a 30 minutes on mass on 6,955, but that's maybe high to short of. Let me view that part for a second. So we got one here, we got one right here. Yeah, no, that's definitely doable to short off. Nothing to say that we cannot short on this one. Let me do a top-down analysis and see if we can short from there. Okay, so you said 6,891, 91. $90.10? No, 6,891. I don't see a 15 minutes on 91. Yeah, these are definitely liquidity pools. So this is a huge liquidity pool right here. Above it, 3 almost equal highs that we have. So definitely a possibility that we could short from off. Now I don't see the Duffer Valley gap that you said. I see one on 6.0, I see one right here, a 30 minute. I don't see a 15 anywhere. Oh, 891. I was wrong. Yeah, it was here. This part you meant. You meant of this part. Okay. Let's take a viewpoint. How can we? I want to see how we act first of this opening gap. If we act, it's more or less to see how we act on the opening gap. So I want to see us fully flush that through the opening gap first. Then I'm sure that it's closed. We will finish that off today anyway. So if we have a very strong push off of here back to the upside, there is a big possibility that we go up and take everything out, because there is a lot of liquidity just above these highs for it. If we hit this gap first, then I see how we act off of it, and once we act, we can actually interpret it where we're next heading to. At this point, we're just still aiming for the opening gap, and from there on, we can actually see what the market wants to be doing. Until we hit that level, we still need to be a bit more patient. So there is news right now, so be a bit patient. Still in the orb range from the morning session, so nothing yet happened. So if you're trading orb, I'll set it out too. So we're still inside the range. See if it was positive news or not for the. It was actually positive for the news right now, so we should move up from here. Morning, Nicolas. So all markets are looking bearish at this point. Nothing showing any strength right now. Yeah, this actually looks like a very strong market to move further downward right now. So we came to the impulse movement, we came back to that 7-8 level. So for me, anything here is the only place where we could have some bounce to the upside, but it looks like it's the first ones to take out this gap at least. So we're now at fair value of price, so anything above under this level should actually be a long, but we want to short right now because this is the opening gap. We have a 15 gap below it, and for me, we started shifting actually to a different side. So for me, it looks like we're shifting to the downside right now. So if we watch the weekly, it's still bullish. So nothing's changed yet on the weekly. We did had a bit of a wick to the upside. We had a jump up, but not much actually to say about this. Weekly looks bullish. Okay, daily. Here we start seeing that shift. So we could see for value, a doji candle. So this shows that the market tends to react to the downside. So we came with a decent candle down. And now I want to see that fully further. That 4 hour is showing us the same structure that we have on the higher. So we're moving slowly lower. So my tent is, if we watch the last full impulse move, that would be this one actually. So if you come back to that fair value of price, so that would be anything that we can short would be to that day gap at least. The week gap that we had, previous week gap. So for me, we want to go down right now. There's nothing telling me right now that we are in a bullish trend anymore. So we shifted. So we want to short this week at least. So anything that we can see 15 minutes to the upside, we want to take that opportunity to short back down, of course. Or the market has to shift very fast right now, but I don't believe so. I believe we are now in a retracement that we will be waiting for a while already. That's very normal after a huge push from more than 1,000 points. So we came from 24,000 a bit to 26,000, so that was about 2,000 points that we moved up. So it's very normal that we actually go back to a fair value of price then to continue that movement. Especially because that 4 hour is showing a shift, that hourly is showing a shift, that daily now too. So for me, we're slowly moving lower. So we always use the higher time frames to confirm where we are in the structure. So if that daily is showing that strength to move lower, we need to use that daily as our main guide point. So if this was our last impulse move, so this was the last shift up, this is that fair value of price. So if the daily is showing that we want to go lower, this daily we should come in the next few days to this area, of course. Doesn't mean that we cannot long, of course, but we're looking for shorts until 25,600, something like that. Starting from this structure right here, this is premium again, so this is a discount for us. So from off here, this level, we'll probably start looking for longs again. So looking for longs. in this section. Anything above it, oh, wrong one, delete it. Anything above this area, we're actually looking for shorts to this area. Until the market actually shows us on a 4 hour that we have a change in structure again. But right now it definitely wants to go to this. So this week we will be looking for shorts. We won't do this in one day, so we'll probably do this in the next week. We can't do this in one day, it's about 500 points, but I believe it will go a bit slower than that. Corp still in that range, nothing happened yet, so I'll put it on the screen. We got about 20 minutes for open. So you all understand why I say we are actually heading for this back fair value of price right here. So once we get to this area, we can look for a 15-minute shift to the upside, then we can take longs again. Until here, I would actually look for anything that we have a retracement in to short. Just the bias just shift from longs to shorts. That's all. So once we have a huge retracement to the upside, we come to a fair value of price again. We are looking to move the market lower again. For now, we're just sitting here. It's actually being patient until it wants to show us, do we hit a gap somewhere or do we flush further down right now? So in the afternoon sessions right now, so once we go live in the afternoon session, I'll be teaching in the afternoon session live on Discord, so I'll record it and those will be added to the trading course later on. I will take the shorts out of it and immediately help everybody. I'll do a small lesson inside the trading because we are most of the time sitting here anyways. In the meantime, you guys can learn something. I'll do a daily small lesson, not too much, and easy explained. I'll see if I can do it twice, once in the morning and once in the afternoon, but not sure yet. Sadly enough, not many fair value gaps actually to trade off. They're all 15-minute fully closed. So if this orb breaches to the downsides, we will definitely fill up this full gap and then look where we could long off of again. But that would be my main idea where we can go to. If I had any gap, this was probably orb to the downside. Yeah, that was a close. So I'll put it on the screen. So this was actually the short. I would take it somewhere here. Do we have a minute gap inside? Yeah, we do have a minute that's not fully functional closed, so that would be here. Where could you take it to? A lower part of that gap would be, let me take it to that 26,000 level. And see afterwards, can we go even further, yes or no? So Initia's not trading the orb at the moment anymore. She's testing that 15-minute continuation with me. I'll just put it on the screen because I know some of you are trading it. So every afternoon lesson will be, or every afternoon session will be an educational session too from now on. Will be a lesson inside for about, I believe, 30 minutes maximum. While we're sitting behind the charts, that we at least do something different, except of constantly watching that chart. Here it goes. We're almost at the start of this opening gap. So this is the start of the opening gap. That's 26.18. We will go at least for me to halfway. Otherwise we didn't touch it yet. So a wick doesn't count, so it needs to actually fill this. Even on a 15 minutes, we didn't tap it yet. On a 30 minutes, it's still open. So this is the gap actually fully. So halfway would be actually that 7-8 level. So I want to also see if we hit that 7-8 level right now. So that would be halfway this gap like I expected. How do we move? Do we start pushing very strong downly? That means that downtrend is actually already in play. That 7-8 level from Fibonacci 2 from this last down movement was completed and that the market had enough liquidity to push the market lower. If we push lower at open, we are going at least for new liquidity pools, so that would be previous week low, that's this one. This is the biggest liquidity pool that we have at this one, at the moment. If we do not move away from this area, the next is that weakening open gap, of course. It was rather a big jump up. That was like a 2.7 point jump up. One new candle open. Not a fan of a candle that does this. Now for us for that continuation trading. Okay. There ain't much that we actually can trade off right now. The only thing that I can see is if we hit this low and we have a shift to the upside, that we could long off of this back to that fair value of price. So that would be this move then that we had. That means back to 26,000 level and then continue lower. So this is the only move that I actually see. But I believe we took an internal level, so we need to get to an external level. So this is an external level right here. Or we will go to that previous Friday's low actually. So I found it pretty strange. The Nasdaq has a lot of gaps actually at the minute channel. We don't see that this often. We have news again. Yeah, we have a lot. a few more news. We just had news at 8:45. We got news at 9:15 and 9:50. Then a lot of red folders this week that come out. Same for the crypto market at this point. It looks like it's very bearish at the moment. So be aware of it. It looks like we're shifting. Like I said, November. All of you already know this. So I said end of October, begin November, we will have that full bearish shift, and we actually are in it right now. So be a bit aware of this. So same for crypto, Bitcoin. Everything is looking not that bullish anymore. So if this keeps going, the next area that you can buy, because we're shifting actually at weekly right now, so we are still in this trend of the sideways. So this was actually the trend where we're chopping to the sides. Monthly is chopped too, so not much to say about it. So if we first, and this one wants to go a little bit lower, we took out both liquidities, so this would be your buying opportunity that we have. So between 89,000 and 95,000 Bitcoin, that would be an optimal buying opportunity that we have. And that would be exactly the same movement that we took. So we had a full movement back to fair value of price, almost at 62 levels. So anything between this area would be a bargain for Bitcoin. So 89,000 to 95, 89 to 98 to 95,000 Bitcoin price, cheap bargain. That would be a long position. Until there, we are actually at a short right now. Same for Ethereum, we're actually shorting at this point. So we took the highs, So we took all-time high and we got rejected off of it. So where we're heading to right now, same. We have a gap right here. So monthly, this is monthly gap, guys. So we're heading between 3003 and 2008. So if you have Ethereum and you holding it, be aware of it, that we are shorting, that we're in a short position right now, and that we could have another 20% drop. Just telling it so that you know, be aware of it for your portfolio. 20% drop for Ethereum is the least that I see right now. By the end of the month, this can be done, of course, but that would be the optimal area what I would look for the buying again. Because we took sessions highs, we took liquidity from the top, we got rejected off of it, so now it needs external level, back to the internal level, so the internal level would be here. We got one at 2002, but that would be a heavy one. If we drop that much, that would be a 40% drop, so I hope not, that we don't see that movement. Would not be a funny one to see, but it can happen. It's crypto. So this is how you should do analysis every day. Once you start, you should look from top down, how the market is moving from higher time frames to lower time frames. This is why sometimes 4 hours shifts in a different direction, why it doesn't work. So we trade a 15-minute continuation, but we trade into a range structure of a 4 hour. So if the 4 hour is showing down movement, we should be looking for shorts on a 15 base too, until we are back at that fair value of price, and now we can look for longs again on a 15-minute base. So if this was that full last movement, so this was actually the first movement, but we broke the lows and we actually stayed under it with this candle, so that means that the market was not done yet and it wants to go lower. So this is why I'm saying here we want to go lower. So where's the next area? That would be this full impulsive move. So this would be that move, this move. So fair value of price is actually halfway, so this is why I'm expecting us to go to that 25,006. And if we are trading with a 15-minute based, so we need to look everywhere where we have a retracement back to the upside, we can actually start shorting to the down. Once we get back to a good price action, so here is not the best price action to short off all the way down. Every student already knows this, so we short from the higher, above 50% level, so we are now above 50% level to the lows, of course. The best area is like 6, 7, 8 level, actually. So if you ever don't see the where it should head to, go zoom out and see on a higher time frame where we're at. We have an hourly for value gap right here above us. If London opens and taps this and starts moving, this could be a good short place actually for us. That would be, if you take that movement, that's 7, 8 level, so perfect level to start shorting off, to go back to short off. So here's open. Still didn't tap the opening gap yet, so aiming for it right now. I think your video mark previous week low is. This is week, this is day. This was previous day. This was Friday's low. So if you take the week, yeah, you're correct, bull months. That's week. Thank you. That was Thursday's low. Yeah, full correct. Excuse me for that. Thank you for the help. Always appreciate it. Good eyes. Always awake. Happy to see that people are awake here. So if London decides to continue down, yeah. If you could take it to previous day low, that would be definitely a nice trade. But first watch at that 26,000 level, of course. So we're almost now it. I'm actually doing a recap of my own lessons too, so I keep still studying every day and rewatch my own educational parts too. We still didn't hit that level, so very strange to see. So look, ES fully closed that. Look, ES closed it, so we can see the day opening gap is closed right here. Now on a 30-minute based, we can see now we tap the fair value gap, and we want to see how do we act off of this. Do we start going lower again, or do we start shifting to those higher levels? So this would be indeed a good level to short of, Emily. That would be a correct level because we had came back over 50 between 60 and 70 level, so a very educational level to short of. But if we start pushing very strongly right here, we probably take out those liquidities right here too before moving down. that would be the best place to look for a short actually, where you actually show it. Good eye, by the way. So again, in the afternoon, I will continue the lessons for everybody in the boot camp. You guys will get it on YouTube. Anybody new for the boot camp, you guys will find it on WOP, of course, the extended levels. I will add an extra few lessons to it, make them shorter so that you don't have to sit there 2 hours on the road. PDFs will be made from it too, and they will be added. I want to make sure that you all see the same things that I do, at least. So pre-order, that will be a fail. I was expecting us at least to hit this level. So then you can actually see how much cleaner ES actually moves right here. We did fully clean it off, and then we had an impulsive move to the upside, and this is accurate reading price. Again, news in about 5 minutes. So this is the movement that we're seeing. I definitely need to get all that done today. Got some shopping I need to do actually. I wanted to record the movies this weekend, and I got to acknowledge that my lovely daughter actually dropped my camera and it's not functional anymore. Can't happen, so I need to get a new one. Kids. So that was an orb fail right here. A pre-orb fail actually. So I'm putting a limit order at this level right here. So I'm gonna do it like this. So I'm putting a limit order at this level to short off. Let's see if we have a 15-minute gap in there too, somewhere. Yeah, we do. So we have at the top actually a 15-minute fair value gap right here that was untapped. So I'm putting a limit order on this one, shorting back to the lows. So this is an hourly gap that we have, and just above a 15 minutes. So if we short this, how much stop do we have? Try to take that one. The reason why this area is actually, if you watch the full movement, this was actually the last hourly move that we had to the downside. So this was actually the full move, and that 7-8 level is actually at this area, at that hourly. So we have equal highs right here. So if we tap this daily and we move a bit up, we probably first go to this level and then start moving all the way down. This will probably happen in New York's session, that we hit this level, and then from here off we move actually then to that daily. The reason why this part is that this is a 15-minute just above it, so it just will spike to that area just under this liquidity right here and then start moving lower. That would be like the optimal part to where we can short from. Just watching how price moves actually. So we came up, we took an internal level, we came back to an internal. So we need here we took some externals just above it, so we came back into an internal level. So now we need some kind of highs to take. So these highs would be nicely to see to go lower. So if we hit those 5 minutes, these are the only thing that I can see right now we could short off. Those are right here, the 5 level. We came into an hourly for value gap right now, but just because he has already took the full gap, I believe that Nasdaq just let it open. And then it will move first to a high again, so this would be that external level that we take out again. So we probably go up, bit movement, then go to that external, and then from here we short down again. So if we find a 15-minute, what we do right now, so if this 15-minute stays open right here, we get that tap, that would be stop, that would be along to those highs right here. This is the first position that I can see that we can take. So from here to that external level, so that would be Asia high. Huge liquidity pool right here. We'll see how this 9 minutes closes. If we stay around here and it closes somewhere in this area, we put the limit order right here and we're gonna long this to the high at least. A nice 3R, definitely doable. Clean movement, nothing especially, but we need another 8 minutes until we have that close. If this closes and this candle stays around that area, I would definitely try this. And maybe if we are lucky, we can actually push it all the way up to those equal highs, but definitely take some profit right here. So this would be the last movement down. That would be a retracement back to that external level, then back down. So let's see how it works. Because first of all, we're now tapping into that 1 hour for value gap, and I do want to see us close as high as possible. So then we had an infungled candle right here that shows us strength back to the upside. Nonetheless, that I do want to see us short the whole week. Doesn't mean that we cannot take long, of course. So this market showed, came into liquidity pool, had a strong reaction. So what does it want to do then? It wants it to go back to a different liquidity, the first liquidity pool that we then see is Asia high right now. So now probably can take first. And the only entry that I can see that we could take was this 15-minute right here. At this moment. If it doesn't get tapped and it continues without us, yeah, it is what it is, of course. We just leave it. We need another 7 minutes for that close. Yeah, this is why I want to be patient, Veerle. So I want to see how do we act of this hourly. So if this hourly closes like halfway or at the top of it, we had an infungled candle at a major liquidity pool. So that means that the market has huge potential to reverse back to the upside first before we continue lower. So if you see a candle formation like this or like this, then we know that the market is tending to move different. So that's an infungled candle formation. So making sure that the first one is bigger than the upside. So here we had the opposite side. So we had a structure to the downside. Once we see this kind of formation, so this hourly is important how it closes actually. If it closes high, this means that we have a fungled candle that we could continue up higher. But this is exactly the first liquidity that we have as a 1 hour. But on the other hand, if we watch the opposite movement, the only thing that I could see us go to was that the opening gap. But because of he has already taken it, this one is actually the big brother of NQ, so ES actually shows us what the major movement is. So we can see we had a 15-minute on ES, a 30-minute, and it just flushed through it. We are now trading into that hourly too. So because of this bullish reaction of this opening gap, I have a big feeling that it will push up to the next liquidity pool first before moving lower. And my idea to short should be then from up here to go lower, because this is Asia high and all of this is liquidity right there. It didn't get tapped yet, so I'm just watching what the price is doing right now, so we can also see if these three candles are formated. So if we take out this high right here, this movement is done. So that means that we had a full structure change. So we can also watch how big this 15-minute right here is. So it's fully flushed over everything, so it didn't even stop. It shows a lot of strength to push higher the market. So if we have a fair value gap that we have right here, we're just trading with the movement of the market in an hour version. So this is why if we closed as 15, what just happened, we have now a fair value gap right here. So this would be a limit order to continue higher, but it looks like it's already left us. I got in a short at 26060.5. 26060. Yeah, okay. You took a short from here. I hope you exited it right here somewhere. And on what base did you took the short? So 2660. So this is that 60 level right here. We don't have a fair value gap yet created out of it. So where did you take that short, Wille? I can't see it where you took it, so that's 60.50 level, that was here somewhere, but the reason was why. There is a 15-minute right here that we actually created, but it didn't get tapped on NQ. Did it get tapped on MNQ? I'm not sure. Yeah, if you took this short right here and you closed it somewhere here, that would be a good play. For value gap 715. Yeah, there is a value gap, but it didn't get tapped for me on. Did it tap on MNQ? My chart isn't open because I don't see any shorts, so I don't open it. I can't see it on NQ, so it only got tapped right now, so for me. Yeah, that would definitely be a good level to put AOTP. So you were in this short, so you took a short from here. Stop should be probably this high. And you wanted to take it to here, so that was 2.9. So you were up 2R. So you got a tap, okay. So you were up 2R and did you take some profits of this trade, because this was a 2R trade, 2.8, 2.18, so definitely a nice trade. So helping you, if this was that trade that you took, so you entered 0.5, but you were at least up 1R, so if you had 2R, that's 1R profit. Yeah, once the market, okay, pointer that I can give you, once the market starts shifting, so we had structure, retest, structure, so balls to the downside again. That means on a 15-minute, that means you could have shifted your stop to that high, so that you actually got stopped at break even right now. So this would have been your stop. Nonetheless, no for value gap, so we had a new structure. I mean that you could have moved your stop after tapping this one actually to here, so that you were actually already in profit, and then you could have stopped out right here. So you could have moved your stop down because we had a break of structure to the downside right here on this candle movement. So this was the last one. This candle structured down. We had a retest. This candle structured down again. So we had that retest. So you could have put your stop right here. Just helping, showing you that you could have moved your stop actually to this last wick at 26,048. Would have been a lot of profit? No, but could have helped a bit. Because you had patience from 7:15 till 8:45, so you had a new structure change, Okay, no for value gaps, but it still counts as a structure. We are now in the last 5 minute for value gap right here. So I'm putting a limit order right now at this level, 26,039. And an extra pointer, if you're up 2R, I would definitely make sure that your stop is at break even, that you don't give anything to the market unnecessary. Did we had anything to do with this? 9:35. So again, at 15 minutes we got it again news. And then 5 before 10 we got news, and at 10 o'clock again, so not the most fun markets to trade with if we have news constantly. So it's a 22 point, that's about $40 per contract. That's almost 5 contracts again, yeah. Yeah, if you only put in a half hour, also see if you trade a half hour and you have a half hour plus, also see that as a 1 hour trade actually that you made profit of. So if you're up 2 hour on a trade, it's always a nice, especially before sessions. So we trade from session to session. So if you're trading an Asia session in the morning and it comes to 9 o'clock, we can see that shift happens a lot at 9 o'clock. Yeah, same for me. So my focus was also on that gap, but uh, keep an eye on ES sometimes. So if you shift, go to ES and watch what ES did, because ES, look, is the big brother of Nasdaq. So this is multiple more businesses into it. So and we saw ES took it, and Nasdaq is sometimes a little bit more volatile and moves on a different perspective. So this is why I watched ES, how it moved, and because ES closed it. For me, that's enough for Nasdaq to close it sometimes. So here we'll have them move down to this area. So still, I put a limit order in at 26,039, and I'm gonna take a long off of it. We will see if this one plays out. So my limit order is there. Not much to do about it anymore. Just let it play out. Would definitely be a strange thing. I would actually wanted to see it actually happen in the next hour instead of this hourly. If this one comes all the way back to that opening, I'm not entering this long. So it depends on this hour how it closes. If it closes at this high and then comes back down, I'm entering it. If it goes right down to that entry in the next 20 minutes, I'm taking this limit off. And then that 1 hour for value gap right here hold a lot of value, and that means that the market was pushed lower off that hourly. I don't want to be in there. But on a 15 minute we can see that we actually had quite some strong candles right here. We'll probably create a new one. But once we've taken out this high, that shows that the market actually had a lot of strength to the upside, and that we had a full reversal of this last down movement. But because of this first 15 minute, I already believe that we will have that movement. So I'll explain that again. If this looks actually very bullish right now, but we still have 17 minutes. So if this hourly closes at 26,039 inside this candle beside it, I'm not entering this long. If the hourly closes at a high and we can jump into it longing, that would be a nice. So if this hourly closes right here and then retraces and goes up, I'm entering it. It will depend on how this hourly closes. I'll still be here anyways until 10. I'm definitely here. And then I need to go after the camera first of all. So I wanted to be in this, no chance yet. If you took orb of London, that would have been a good one, so you would be already in this trade. That would be orb of London. Yeah, this would be your entry. And now all we can do is be a bit patient and be so we created now a second 15-minute fair value gap. If we take out this high, it's okay that we go back down then. So we need to take out this high right here. You can see the difference in candles already. So we had small ones and this is actually a very strong push. So this is an impulsive candle and where the market is showing its hand, it wants to go up right now. definitely looking. This is definitely looking bullish right now. But we'll see and how this 10 minutes closes. I don't want to see it close. That would be perfectly above those highs. Then we could have the movement back down to continue. That would be the ideal play actually. This on Nasdaq right here is then a 50 minutes and a 30 minutes right now. So it depends on how this one closes and how high it closes. We could take our fib tool again, see how it moves. So it should close something like this to be that 50 level. That would be actually the perfect movement. Well, this looks, you can all see how strong these candles actually are, right? So this is why I am continuing the lessons for the bootcamp too. That you know the difference between slower candles and impulsive candles. I'll make sure that all my knowledge is actually increased. I know a lot of you see already what you need to see in the market. But I can share my knowledge, of course, in 14 hours. That's impossible. Most of you learn more here by sitting here. So this will make the live sessions a bit more interesting than just trading and keep watching those charts, because this is not healthy, watching those charts constantly. We don't want to be doing that. Especially not if you trade that 15-minute continuation. You need to learn to let go of the market anyways. And then the best way to do that is actually not watching that chart. So in the meantime you can learn something. I also got a nice exercise for all of you. Do you all have an idea what you want to do in life? If you don't, I am redoing a lesson that I've bought actually a few years ago, and it's how to make money in good and bad times. It's actually from somebody that also invented that meditation program that most of you are using. So here's that liquidity sweep. So we took out our high right now. So yeah, this looks like a very bullish chart. So this was that hourly for value gap, holds no value anymore. We just took out the high. It's actually a very interesting lesson, and he actually has like 6 very good points why actually you can actually make money, and it actually implements for everybody. I'll share some teachings of him too along the way. Yeah. But no matter what the market does, you always have to be happy, because look, this is moving right now and we could chase it by just jumping in it, but that's not how we should trade. We never should do that. So we can just be patient. We already saw the shift. I saw it happening, so now we need to be patient. I am gonna put an extra limit order on that just under that wick. But this, like I said, that's gonna be that 50 level. Look, that's exactly that 50 level right now. What was expected actually? That was gonna do this way. The next 6 minutes, I do want this candle to stay up here. It cannot come all the way back down now. If it does, I'm still not entering. I want to see it stay around here. Then we can have an impulsive move for the candle back down. And then we'll have a push and then a wick. Of course, the other candle will look like this, with a wick under it. And that tap. And then we'll continue higher. But I do want this candle to close above this high. That would be the ideal play. So somewhere in this area. Then I want to see that push to it, and then we take out Asia high. Our first TP would be Asia high, so that's about a 3R still from where we can get it. If we take it from a second gap, we will get at least a 1.6. Bit less, still doable. But that would be the main TP, that would be those highs. This is what the market is drawing to right now. So it's the first drawing to Asia high, and afterwards, I believe those equal highs right here. So then we watch, where do we want to enter? Again, on a 50-minute base, we want to see fair value of price, so that would be the half hour. And I'm actually going to put two limits, so I'm going to put a half hour on this one, and if we hit the lowest part, I'm going to enter the other half hour, because I'm not sure that we will get all the way down to that level. It will depend still on how this one closes. Because I don't want to be in a chopped market like this one again. So 5 minutes before 10, let's see, or 3 minutes before 10, let's see how this one closes. I do want to see it close at least and up here. Because here we just made, so in this impulsive move, we just made here a full break of structure, if this one closes above in 2 minutes. On a 15-minute we had here a change in character, and here we had full change in character actually on an hourly too. So if this one closes, that's an hourly change in character, so we will retrace a bit and then continue. And that's the part where Emily actually wanted to short off. So we hit that at 62 level, so So stop is this low. Stop is 26,017. Go on one more minute. I do want to see that close above right now. Yeah, I'm gonna leave those. This candle looks way too nicely. So 2 limit orders right now. I got a half hour twice. So one on 26,039 and one on 26,058. Stops are both the same, and I'm aiming at least for Asia high first. That would be DP1. And this is full TP, these highs. $26,182. Take it a bit under it, maybe make it 70, 75. That's still at least almost a 3 hours, so that's good. I'm not gonna be behind the screens, so these are limit orders. I'm not gonna see how this plays out until I get back. So this is what I'm aiming for. These are my limit orders set up. If we have this set up and it's fully out, that means perfectly move to the upside. So reason why the first one here, that's about if we have this last movement to that high, so that would be that 50 level. This is more that 60 to 78 level that we have in between, so keeping this open. I'm gonna leave this on the screen. I'm gonna take a screenshot, put in Discord, so you guys know exactly what trade it is. I do need to go right now. I have. So it's in Discord, you guys can see it. So limits are set. We will see when I get back how this trade played out. So you need to put your stop. So you got about 42 points. So if you only have the first limit order has 42 points inside. So you need to calculate those 42 points and put that as your automatically stop. So it stops at this level. The next entry of a long limit, if it gets triggered, the stop will stay at the same place. So it will not move down. So you just need to limit order. So say that you have a $200 stop. That means 40 points. We take it exactly. So to that low, that's 41 points. So if you calculate this one, 41 x2, that's $82. So your stop should be at $82 if you have one contract into it. So that would be your stop then. And you can enter the next without putting a new stop into it. So it would actually trigger both on the same stop. Yeah, of course, if we hit TP1 before we get it, that's something else, but still looks good. That would be just a bit of a retracement right now to continue higher, so leaving everything open, see what happens. So that was a great read on the market. If we hit TP1, yeah, that would not look good to leave those limit orders open. Nonetheless, I'll just let it do its thing. If we do hit TP1 and it doesn't move lower, it is what it is. So I did expect this. Look, I said for the morning session, I did want to see us go lower. But if the market shows me its hand on a 15-minute base that we are changing structure, this was actually a full change in character actually to the upside on a 15 minutes even. So we fungled 2 candles right with this one, and it showed a lot of strength here. And I didn't. If it doesn't give me my entry, it doesn't give me my entry. I was good at the reading. We cannot jump into this just out of thin air, so we do need some kind of entry model. The only thing that you could have done then is take like a 5-minute based for value gap and continue to long. Sometimes this works, it doesn't always work. The next liquidity pool, like I said, was Asia high, so we will take that out. And I'm actually aiming for that level, so I'll leave the limits open. It's like just 1 hour anyway, so nonetheless, if I'm lucky, we get that retracement. If we don't and we go straight up to that full TP, we will not get down here again until the afternoon session, so I'll be back by then. I can delete those limit orders then. For the rest, we will see how this plays out. So TP1 will be hit like in a few minutes, I believe already. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for the help. Like I said, we will see for the afternoon what happens. And starting from this afternoon, I'll give a small educational... starting from tomorrow afternoon, I'll start with a small educational part, continuing on the bootcamp, so that you can actually see this move too, like I saw it happening. Because my purpose is still that you could do this without me and not with me, of course. Wish you all a great trading session. If you took London Orb, congratulations, looks beautiful play. Take at least TP1 as a high, as Asia high. If you took that or to the upside of London itself, take that as your TP over right here, maybe as a 1 TP, and then re-enter at a lower base if you want to add to that trade. Enjoy for the rest of the trading session. I'll see you back in the afternoon.